I'm joined by University of Central Oklahoma running back Jadon Washington. Jadon, thank you for taking time to talk to me this afternoon. Could you start by telling the viewers and listeners a little bit about yourself?
Hi, I'm Jadon Washington. As you introduced me, by the way, I'm from Minneapolis, Minnesota, and recently came. I'm a JUCO transfer from Iowa Central Community College. If you don't know, it's a D1 JUCO for 2 years. Uh, I went there for 3 years actually because of the free COVID year, and I have fun, and I decided to come here.
Now, you're from Minnesota. Now, I know many folks that follow along on my podcast, including myself, don't really know much about the high school football scene in Minnesota. So, what is
hmm
high school football like in the state of Minnesota?
Um, it's a grind. It's a short 8 game grind. There's not really many recruits that come out unless there's a highly recruited player that went to camps, or if you are a player that went to camps, that's the only way you pretty much got recruited out of Minnesota. Um, I actually have a former teammate that plays for the Seahawks right now. It's Minnesota football is different. It's cold.
Okay, now you mentioned now you will only have 8 games. You know, up here we get 10, so that's two less opportunities to really show your stuff. So then, like, how
hmm
much pressure, just from a recruiting standpoint, do you kind of have to put on yourself to make these 8 games count? Because obviously there's no guarantee you make the playoffs every year, so you only
hmm
guaranteed eight games. So how do you kind of, I guess, manage the pressure of I have to put up big numbers in these 8 games if I want to get recruited?
Uh, I mean, there's no real way you can manage the high school pressure. Like I was a lot younger then, I was a lot less mature. I would say like the best way you can handle the pressure is just try to come prepared every night, every Friday night. Just come prepared and try to put on the best show you can.
And you mentioned that it's cold up there now. I
hmm
have to ask. So now, what's the coldest game that you did or that you played in your high school career?
It was my junior year. We played in a blizzard. All the other games were canceled, and it was a playoff game, and we actually had to play. So it was probably about -30 coming down. It did not feel good. It sucked. It was not a it was fun for the first half, and then about the second half it was just it's not fun at all.
Now, like, how? I mean, how are you staying if it's -30? I mean, it's like, I mean,
Yeah, I had on I had on 3 long sleeves and 2 other like sleeveless undercuts.
and you were still able to move. Like, I mean, that's like a lot of.
Sorry, I didn't hear you. You kind of cut out.
You're good. I mean, that's like a lot of gear. How are you able to move?
Uh,
You
I,
know what I
I
mean?
had to
Like,
figure
wouldn't
it
that kind
out.
of restrict you somewhat, though?
You just move. It's cold and you move. I don't know what to say. You cold, you move, you get hit, it hurt. It is what it is. Just get up and keep playing the next
Oh,
play.
oh man, okay. Now that is a new one right
Yeah.
there. Oh man. Sort of football is truly different.
hmm It is. Sometimes it can be
Oh,
funny, but
that's
like,
just rough.
hmm it's cold.
I mean, it's. I mean, it's probably funny now. I'm sure in the moment, the
Oh
moment it
nah,
was
like
not.
in the moment it was not funny, but then I mean, like now, yeah, it's hilarious. But then it was just straight stress and pain. You still had to try to produce, and it was cold. You can't even barely move. Like your feet numb. The snow coming down. It's like 3 inches of snow on the field. You trying to, like, you can't even make a cut. You can't do nothing. Like, it's not. It's just, it's worse. Like, imagine a mud bowl, but 3 inches of mud. You know, just mud. You can't. It's not fun. It wasn't even a football game. It was just just people running around in the
And what was the
snow.
score?
They ended up winning because they ran the ball. Actually, we did not run the ball. We were still trying to throw it because our offense was spread in high school. But they ran the ball. The score was probably like 28-14, 28-7, something like that.
You know, I mean, the fact there was 5 touchdowns scored, though, kind of impressive. Every time you play in 3 feet of snow and negative 30 degrees, you got 5 combined touchdowns.
Mm-hmm.
That's actually impressive.
Yeah, it's. I tried to hit a home run and I got my butt caught. So running in a blizzard is not, it's not recommended. I hate it.
What was the vision like? Like, could you, like, how, like, 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 how?
The it wasn't so clear. You still got snow smacking your face. So, like, I mean, you see what you can see. You can do what you can do because all your abilities are limited at that point. Like, all of them. You can't hit nobody as hard as you want to hit them. Like, you can't run as fast as you want to. You can't make no cuts. You can't even put your feet in the ground, like, and stay on your feet while you running straight. Imagine running straight and falling, like, as an athlete, running straight and falling. That's crazy.
Oh, yeah, is that is different. Okay,
Yeah,
what?
it's
that is first. Okay, okay. Well, that's something. Okay, so that I know you mentioned. So you mentioned obviously that the option, the recruiting options was limited for you. So then,
mhm.
how did you end up at Iowa Central?
I ended up at Iowa Central because, well, like, being young, like, I I could have had better grades, but I didn't. Like, I had a 2.4. Like, it wasn't horrible, but, like, it just wasn't enough to get that push to go where I wanted to be, you know. So I just felt like, even, and on top of being undersized in high school, I was probably like 150, 160 all through high school, and then college, just after freshman season, where I was probably about like 170 finishing off the season. Uh, that spring I blew up to 190, and then kind of stuck there till I tore my ACL, and then, yeah, that the whole story goes on.
So, okay, now you gained roughly 40 pounds then since your high school career until now. So how were you able to do that? Was it just you just lived in like the weight room, or did you start eating better? Was it just like or was it like a combo of both?
Uh, it was more I like, a lot of people when they're skinny, they think they eat a lot when they're skinny, but, like, until you really eat to the point where you start to gain weight and see results, like, you don't really realize, like, how much you didn't eat. So, like, I would eat like a big meal in high school, like, one day, and it wouldn't be like every day, like, consistently. Now, like, you have to eat consistently to in order to gain that weight. So I decided to just start taking protein and feed my body, and then live in the weight room for, well, college JUCO weight room was no joke, so kind of forced it on.
So now, well, okay, so well now like how long did it take your body to get used to the bigger meals, the more often meals? Because I imagine it had to be tough at first. You're only eating maybe X
Hmm.
amount, and now you're forcing maybe double or triple that. So how
Hmm.
long did it take your body to kind of get used to that?
I would say probably 3 months of consistent work. 3 months, most likely, before it started to actually, like, my body started to get used to all the calories I was taking in. The weight started to stick on. It wasn't gonna be gone in like 2 days or something like that. Like, it was sticking, you know. We did a lot of
And
conditioning also on
your
top of that.
freshman. Oh, go ahead.
We did a lot of conditioning also on top of that, so like
Okay.
you can get used to like your body movement as you gain weight. It wasn't like, oh, I put on like 25 or 40 pounds, and all of a sudden, like, I didn't do no running. Like, we ran a lot. Like, we was in the even when it was cold, we was in the rec inside, like, still running full sprints. So it was like you had to, if you was gonna gain the weight, you had to gain it the right way either way, because we was gonna run it off you regardless.
And your freshman season, you managed to play in eight games, had almost 300 yards. You scored a
Mm-hmm.
touchdown. What was the biggest adjustment for you coming from the high school level to now the college level?
Um, the speed of the game was way different from high school to college. Like, high school was way slower. Like, I would think it would be like during that time it felt fast, but like growing up as you play with faster players and players that like the variety of speed, like it's a big gap now. So like the speed of the game is just way different. It's way faster now. I like it now better than I did in high school, to be honest with you.
And so now, because your sophomore year, which ended up being the COVID year, you
Mm-hmm.
ended up almost doubling your production. You scored three more touchdowns, averaged over 4 yards a carry. So,
Mm-hmm.
like, I guess my first question would be what was the experience like playing in that COVID year? Because I've talked to people that was at UCO when they canceled the season. I talked to high school people during that time, but I think you're the first JUCO that I've been able to talk to that actually played in that COVID season. So what was that experience like?
Um, the experience, it was probably the weirdest season I've ever played. Like, if you want like my realest answer, like, it was probably the weirdest season I've ever played. Never really, like, we've had spring ball, but like we've never had games in the spring. Like, like that's just in the whole season, bus rides and having to deal with spring weather instead of fall weather. Like, it's totally different. Um like this the season, it went well as a team and for me personally, but like it was a weird season, like, definitely.
And so now, because you all were given that extra year, so
Hmm.
then what made you decide after that to still come back for a third year?
Oh, the that COVID season, I tore my ACL in the seventh game of the season. So that kind of like, because I tore my ACL, the offers that I had no longer stood. So I just had to go home, get surgery, do rehab, and come back and just see what happens. That's what I did.
Now, okay, now because that's obviously a lot, and that could be really th- that could like derail a person's spirits, right? Because here you are, you had a good season, you had offers, you suffer an ACL injury, those offers are pulled, and now you're almost back to square one in a sense, but also now having to rehab. So, like mentally, how were you able to get through that tough time?
But like I never felt discouraged about it. It just like obviously like having an ACL injury, like you're gonna have thoughts where you might not play again. Like, what's your backup plan? Like, the whole nine. But I told my coach straight up I was gonna come back. That's just how it had to be. I couldn't just go 2 years at a JUCO and just not finish what I started. Like it was just easier for me to come back and keep playing than just stay home and think about all the coulda, woulda, shouldas.
And that rehab process, what was that like?
It was rough. Like I had to go in 3 to 4 days a week, and then on top of that, like doing stuff outside of rehab. Um, yeah, it was tough. It was um I didn't have no complications with my knee or like after surgery, nothing like that. Like there was no issues. It was just building the strength back in my leg um in enough time to come back in the spring to be able to play and compete in the spring and then be able to get ready for the season. That's what I was worried about the most. So and it ended up turning out well. I ended up being 100% by the middle of the spring and like preparing for the season pretty early for an ACL injury.
And at any point during that rehab process, did you ever question, is this worth it? Or were you just determined, I'm going to get back to where I was and have a good season and move on to the next?
Um, I just felt like after I tore my ACL and went through, looked over my performance, like I felt like I could have did more. So like the fact that I felt I could have did more and that I'm hungry about it, like that helped me keep pushing every day to want to come back and keep playing football and play it at a high level.
And you came back and you had a whale of a season, 1,130 yards, 4 touchdowns, over 6 yards a carry. So when you kind of look back on that season, were you surprised by the numbers you were able to put up, or is it that you kind of felt like was in you all along, and you were just finally able to put it together?
I think it was in me all along and I was finally able to put it together. It was just like it was unfortunate that I couldn't be able to get more opportunities because of how we ran our offense in at Iowa Central, but um I feel like I could keep building off that like coming in at UCL.
And when I was watching the tape, I'm not gonna lie to you, Jay. Like I'm sitting there watching the tape, and I was questioning a lot of things. Number one, I'm questioning the fact here, you're like you get shot out of a cannon.
Hmm.
I mean, it's just like there's like I wouldn't even say a hole. There's like a crease, and you hit that crease, and it's just like burners. And I'm just like, man, okay, so obviously he's a home run guy, but then I see the jukes, I see the cuts, I see a guy takes three or defenders to bring you down, which is something that you don't
Hmm.
see in a lot of smaller backs. I just I was floored. I was like, this guy's different. So, like, how
Hmm.
would you, I guess, describe your game?
Uh, well, being a Minnesota fan, I grew up watching AP and his greatness. So you feel me? I try to of course, like every little kid, like I tried to model my game after his, and trying to pick up little things off it and take what I can use. But obviously, like AP's like he's 6'1", he's 220, like he's a big back. Like I gotta, I can pick and choose some things out of him, and then watch other players and study and work on my own game. I feel like my own game is just after being hurt, after tearing my ACL, I wanted to come back and prove something. Like every time I touch the ball, I want to prove something to somebody that something I can't do is something I can do. So, like that motivated me to be a quote unquote home run hitter. You know what I'm saying?
Now, I was wondering this now because I like when you're in open space, there's a defender there. How do you decide which move to hit him with? Like, how do you decide? Okay, this is when I can make a juke. This is when I could do a spin. I could just stiff arm this guy. Like, how do you kind of decide in that split second? How's the best way to make the defender miss?
Um, just look at the angle a defender is taking on your path and attack leverage. Like, say we run inside zone and somebody's coming from the outside, like I'm gonna attack leverage. As soon as he picks up his momentum and as soon as he can't control it, I'm gonna stop on the dime. You know what I'm saying? Like it's kind of like a reflex thing. Like, is he gonna go low? Is he gonna go high? Like you just kind of gotta read him in that split second. Yes, it's hard. Like sometimes, like you're not gonna make the right judgment and it might mess you up. But uh, having that confidence and making those moves, like I think it helps with your performance. So not being scared to make a cut, not being scared to jump over somebody, not being scared to spin, not being scared to lower your shoulder. I think all that plays a fact in what you do on the field and playing with no fear.
Now, what really impressed me too, because you mentioned that sometimes you gotta stop on a dime. I know sometimes guys will lose speed. You just pick up like right back, like you never stop. So like, how are you able to kind of turn on the jets almost at will when some guys it might take them a little bit to get to that full speed?
Um, I would say that a lot of that comes with the work I've put in off the field, wanting to be explosive out of cuts. But as far as ability, like I don't know. I just accelerate. Like it's just something that I've always been doing like my whole life.
And when you look back at your 3 year JUCO career, I guess what kind of is the biggest takeaway from that experience?
Um, I think probably my biggest takeaway from that is seeing what I could go through. Like not only like playing high school ball, like just like everybody else. Like everybody doesn't go JUCO. Everybody doesn't go D1. Everybody doesn't go D2. Everybody doesn't have like the opportunity to play college football. So I felt like if I had the opportunity to play college football and the fact that I played JUCO, I feel like I can do anything.
And so after the season that you had, obviously offers came. So what was that recruiting process like for you?
Um, with all honesty, the second time around, after the COVID season, this most recent recruiting process was probably the weirdest recruiting process I've ever been through. It was kind of like after I got hurt, like there wasn't the same schools wasn't reaching back to me. Even though I was having a better season, like the same schools wasn't reaching back to me. Um, Coaches were kind of shady when it came to recruiting, and they'll reach out and they wouldn't take the chance. So I was just appreciative that as soon as UCO found out about me, they took the chance right away. And so, um, with other schools having me wait on the transfer portal and that craziness that's going on with fifth string players going to start somewhere else, like I just felt like if you want to wait on one of those, like, and after all the work I put through in JUCO and actually playing and starting every season that I've played, um, I felt that UCL gave me the most love and um, appreciating my game and wanting to bring me in to do something.
And one of your former teammates, I believe, Madison Ridgeway, is also
Mhm.
on the team now. Like, what did he tell you about UCO as well? Because I'm sure that had to somewhat factor in too.
Um, with me and Madison's relationship, like I really didn't even have to talk to him that much. The fact that he was there alone, like it felt like it could be a home. It could be a home I could be at because he was just Madison's. Like he's a trustworthy person. Like playing with him at JUCO, like I put my 100% faith in him that UCO and their staff knows what they're doing, and obviously I met him, so like I feel 100% confident after that.
And when you met them, I guess, like, what was your initial impression, initial takeaways after that?
Um, I honestly didn't know UCO could look better than probably a good percentage of SCS schools. Like UCO and their training facilities and their stadiums, their jerseys, like it's. I didn't think UCL would be able to like put on the table a better performance than a lot of D1 programs. That's crazy.
Yeah, because and a lot of that just came recently, because even as far back as 2016, none of that was there. The first year came, I think it was 2018. Just got the new turf last year. They did this last year. Those new white jerseys, that was something that happened last year as well. So, uh, yeah, it's just, there's been a lot of investing in the football
Hmm.
program now, and I'm really glad about that. So now, how can I say now? Let's see about that. Now, okay, now you're a new position coach, Coach James Gilbert. He had a very storied college career.
Hmm.
What about Coach Gilbert? Uh, do you like the most, just in your maybe discussions with him throughout the recruiting process?
His honesty, like I I've heard from other players that his honesty is brutal, but like I appreciate that type of honesty. Like I'd rather have somebody tell me what I'm doing wrong every day than what I'm doing right. Like you know what I'm saying? Like I feel like the honesty between our relationship and his trust, like I feel like we could build a great relationship there at UCO.
And you're joining, I guess, a fairly deep running back room. There's a few guys coming back from last year. Jalen Cottrell. There's Jace Gardner, who's coming off a torn ACL, just like you did at one point in
Mhm.
time. So what? How can you come in there and make an impact in that running back room?
Um, just by competing at the highest level and trying to bring everybody else up with you. I also like competing is not just only like just win or lose. Like you want to bring everybody else up with you. Like everybody has to get better as a whole for everybody to reach their best potential. So I feel like just getting in the room and competing with those guys like at the highest level is the only way to go.
And my found a football-related question would be what can UCO fans expect to see out of Jadon Washington in a UCO uniform?
Explosion. That's it.
Okay. Well, I mean, if the tape is anything, then I think they're in store for a lot of explosion. I will say that was probably because when I was watching that tape, I'm like, he brings something that the unit just didn't have last year. We did that. There wasn't that home run hitter in the bunch, and I'm sitting there and I'm like, some of those holes we had here that might have been a 20, 30-yard gain could be 60, 70-yard gains. This is looking really good. So
I've seen them.
So okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
I can't wait to see that same vision.
Well, before I get you out of here, we do this with all the new guys, some more get to know you type questions. Now, I know you said you're a Minnesota Vikings fan. So first, I have to ask: do we think Kirk Cousins? Do we think Kirk Cousins is a franchise quarterback? I gotta ask.
You gonna put me on the spot with Captain Kirk? Okay. I'm gonna answer this. I feel like he is to a certain extent. I feel like he just needs to get that extra push to where he can be. I don't know, where he can finish. You get what I'm saying? Like Tom Brady finish the rest of the season. I think he is a franchise quarterback, and he's very consistent. He probably doesn't have the same hungriness as a lot of other QBs, but I think he's definitely a franchise QB for sure.
Okay, but that are we confident though? Like we know Kirk has had a good season so far.
Mm-hmm.
Just do we feel though like he has what it takes though to win those tough, meaningful football games in hopes of winning a championship?
He has it in him. He just, it's weird with Kirk because unless it's at noon, it just seems like he's just not there. But I feel like I hope when the playoffs come that he wakes up every day of every night and decides that he wants to show up. That's it. That's all I ask.
Back. I have to ask now. The Colts comeback. Now, obviously, that was a very bad first half. Now, when you saw the outcome, because I watched that happen in real time, just as just a general fan of the sport of football.
I was actually on the visit there at UCO while that happened. I was watching it on the head coach's phone. So yeah, I was hyped about that one. Yeah.
Okay, I just had to add because I still don't know what that was. I just like
it's just Minneapolis. It's just Minnesota. That's just what we do. It's just we have these little miracles throughout the season, and we always end up putting on a show. And then when it comes playoffs, we either go deep and go home, or we go home and just say we suck. Like that's it. Like that's it. Like it that's just what being a Minnesota fan is, and like I'm glad to be one. Like I don't care. We've had a
Yeah,
lot of greats
okay.
here. And,
I can respect that. See, I can respect the true fan. Yeah, you know what? Regardless, I'm still pull for him. That's still my team. I can respect that. I really can.
yep.
So do is do you have a favorite current Vikings player?
No, actually, no. Oh well, no. You said favorite current Vikings player? Yes, Justin Jefferson all the
Yes,
way.
sir.
It was
Okay.
see, look, it was Dalvin Cook because he's a running back. You know, I like running. I love the running game, but what Justin Jefferson is doing is like it's just greatness, like right in front. You can't just not appreciate that. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, he's breaking Randy Moss's records. Like, come on now, like, you gotta appreciate that. So he
Yeah,
has to be your
yeah, I agree.
favorite
I
player if
agree.
you're a Vikings fan. Like, he has to, unless you know somebody else for personal reasons or whatever. He just has to. Like,
Oh, that's brutal though, man. You just okay.
that's
That's brutal, bro. Now, I will say there is you're a starting center, Lane Grantham. He is a Philadelphia Eagles fan. Now he might still be sore because obviously they picked Jalen Rager instead. So I just know he. I don't know if he's still miffed about that. But,
and guess what? Now we got both. So, you know what I'm saying? We got both now.
So
They had a chance to
so
pick
I'm just saying.
JJ and they picked Rager, and now we got both. So that's all I gotta say to that. Oh.
I'm just saying, if there's a halfback dive and maybe there's a block up the middle that's conveniently missed now, you know.
I mean, they did take the Super Bowl from us, so like that's like the even out. They got the forever and we got the current. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
They got the forever ring and we got a player, a legendary player, but we got a player.
Okay. 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 Let's see. Your favorite hobby outside of football?
Ooh. If it's not playing games, it's cutting hair. I do I do not have my barber's license, but I've been cutting hair for like 6 years, and I did it consistently at Iowa Central. Like, I would cut the whole campus and then play a game the next day. Like, that's what I was doing. That's my favorite hobby. That's how I make my money. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's just off the rip.
I mean that could be a very useful skill. I mean, yeah, I'm just saying that you got a whole potential roster full of new
Homie, I don't gotta
clients.
go to no barber.
So now, how did you start? Like now, how did that start? Was it just more of like I just don't want to pay for getting a haircut, so let me figure out how to cut it myself? Like, how did that kind of start for you?
It started off like high school. I kept like I was bouncing barbershops. Like, I could not find like a solid barber, like a barber that was consistent. Like, the fade would look the same every single time, or like it would just look good every single time. So I just got tired of getting the all over evens and decided one day, like, I'm gonna go buy some clippers and learn how to cut hair myself. I watched about like 200 videos of 360 Jeezy before I even got good at cutting hair. And then, like, once I started getting good at cutting my own hair, I started showing up to high school my senior year, and that's when people start asking me like, "Who's your barber?" And I just said myself, and they never believed me until I cut their hair. So then that's just how they started. Like, and then I
Now,
carried it through JUCO.
What's your favorite cut? Like which hairstyle do you enjoy cutting the most?
I mean, you can't go wrong with a taper. It's in and out, same price too. It's in and out, and it's the same price. So, yeah.
I'm not knocking. I'm not knocking the hustle. Okay. Well, what do you know? We gained a home run hitter and a barber at the same time. Okay.
Yeah. And my degree is also in graphic design. I made my own commitment poster to post on Twitter. I didn't use y'all's graphic.
Well, we might be coming to you then for some graphics, man.
The goal, if it's not football, is to make money. That's the goal. So you gotta learn how to do
Jadon Washington, UCO's most. Jadon Washington, you. What?
And maybe I might get into tattoos or something. I don't know.
Not expect this. Okay. Now, okay. So now, where did the level of graphic design come from?
Well, I was always like curious about it during high school. So when I went to Iowa Central, like they had a good graphic design program. So I had got into it, got a MacBook, and like I fell in love with it because like making like sports edits is like it's just the dopest thing you can put out like on social media. Like everything you see now is pretty much like graphic design. Like everybody needs a graphic designer. So like I felt like if I had a degree in that, like, and I was good at it, that like after football, like I wouldn't have nothing to worry about. So that's kind of where I wanted to go with that.
Okay. Now, when you mentioned earlier that aside from playing the games, it was cutting hair. Now, when you say playing the games, we talking video games?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, are we Xbox, PlayStation, PC?
Placed easy. Yes, sir. Placed easy.
Okay.
No Xbox. Okay. We retired from Xbox.
Okay.
Especially with the PS5, you can't go wrong with a PlayStation. Yeah, you can't go wrong with a PlayStation.
Now, I just want you to know, your head coach Adam Dorrell, your co-offensive coordinator James Curley are on Team Xbox.
With the PS5 out, that's nuts. That's kind of bonkers. It's kind of crazy. It's kind of crazy.
Wow.
I ain't look. I ain't hating on the Xbox, but I'm just saying, like, that's kind of crazy with PS5 being out. Like, that's kind of crazy. Like, it's not the 360
but the statement was
like,
okay, wait. So now what you said? So now you made the switch when the PS4 came out? Is that what you're saying?
No, I made the switch when the well, I had the 360 at first, and I was big Xbox. You know what I'm saying? But everybody had PS4, so like all my friends had it at school. So like when I made the switch, like I didn't like it at first, to be honest with you, switching from the Xbox One to the PS4. But after transitioning into the PS5, like I'm PlayStation now. Like it's no more Xbox. Like I'm back PlayStation. I'm not switching.
Oh, man. Okay, now your favorite game.
I mean, it's not Madden. It's 2K, but like this year's 2K is kind of slower pace, so like it's kind of hard to play for the usual time I would play for. So I stay on Madden now. Like this year, Madden 23 is winning over 2K to me.
Now, when you play 2K, now who's your team of choice?
Mm. See, I used to play a lot of head to head, like with James Harden on the Rockets, but he's not there no more, and he's not like the same player on 23. So I kind of gotta go with the Reaper and grab the Nets. Not gonna lie.
See, see, as a Brooklyn Nets fan, Jay, that is a fantastic answer, sir. I greatly appreciate that. Just greatly appreciate that.
Mhm.
I mean,
The Nets are
you
not
know,
my team, but the Lakers are my basketball team because they are originally from Minneapolis. So you feel me? They're my basketball team. But I would not going head to head against somebody. I'm not
yeah,
gonna grab the Lakers. I'm not gonna put LeBron on them first game. That's just not. That's just
but you're
not
just gonna
happening.
throw. Wait. Wait, now you just gonna throw the Timberwolves to the curb there?
I mean, if you look at the history of the Timberwolves, yes. Yes. Do I
What
like
did
players for the Timberwolves? Yes. Do I have jerseys? Yes. But do I like Lakers or Timberwolves? Lakers all day, all day. Even when Kobe was
that's
there,
brutal.
I like
I
the
mean, you can
Lakers.
you can like both though. You, I mean, man,
Look,
that's rough.
see, that's the thing. That's the thing with Minnesota. You can like both, but then you're gonna get called a bandwagon because LeBron's there now. So you can't be an original Lakers fan because of LeBron's there now. So you got to choose one. You got to choose one, and you got to rock with one.
Yeah,
And the
but okay, but shit,
Timberwolves
I feel
every year just disappoint anyway. So it makes the decision that much easier. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, oh, I mean, I mean, okay, but I feel like though, like okay, you could be. I feel like unless you were there before Showtime, all right, any other era, you could be considered a bandwagon Lakers fan. So like,
Hmm.
I mean,
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
right?
Like,
So
like everybody be like, "You're a bandwagon Lakers fan." Like, how can I be a bandwagon if they're always good? And
because you're
on
hopping on
top
the
of that,
bandwagon because
like yeah, like if I liked them while Kobe was there, and I only know Kobe because that's only my generation, why would I be a bandwagon? Because I didn't like them because I didn't like them when Magic was playing there. Like I wasn't alive. Like it just like you know what I'm saying. Like you can't see. You just sometimes you just gotta let people talk, bro. Like all right, if I'm a bandwagon, I'm a bandwagon. Whatever.
oh, okay, now from the period okay now from the period when Kobe retired to when LeBron signed, were you
Hmm.
still a Lakers fan then, or did you jump ship?
No, I was still a Lakers fan. Like I am a LeBron fan of his career, but when he made the switch to the Lakers, it just made it that much better. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Okay, well, I mean, I guess as long as you didn't jump ship from that time when Kobe retired to when LeBron got there, I'll
Yeah,
give you a
no, I
pass.
like the Lakers when they had Derek Fisher and Kobe and Paul Gasol. You know what I'm saying? Like 2010. Like, come on now. Like, how can you not like the Lakers?
Yeah, okay, but what I'm saying though is, did you like them when there was Julius Randle and D'Angelo Russell and Jordan Clarkson and like that crew? Were you still a fan then?
I was still a fan, but was I watching every game? No, I was not. I was a fan, but kind of not a fan. Like, of the players that was there. Like, nobody was just that Lakers team was just it needed work, obviously. Like, all of them are not there anymore, and it's pretty much a monarchy of LeBron's kingdom. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, you're talking to a man that sat through 2 seasons with a combined 42 wins. I know what being at the bottom of the barrel, means here. So I'm just saying now. So when I understand rough times, very rough
Yeah.
times. You watch the NBA lottery and you get a top 3 pick, but it goes to Boston, which is in your division, so you don't even get the benefit of being
Hmm.
back. They're just some dark times. I some very, very dark.
Yeah. And everybody wants to hate on the Disney championship, uh, the 2020 COVID championship. Like, it still happened. Like, that was that was only 2 years ago. So, like, having two bad seasons after that, like, it it's gonna happen. Like, look at the Rams right now. Like, come on now. Like, it's just gonna
But the Rams
happen
had
at
some
some point.
injuries though. Yeah, but okay, but the Rams had a lot of injuries though.
Yeah, and it's kind of different talking about it because it's a different sport. But, like, it, it just happens with teams winning the championship that the next year or a couple years it just happen to be rough. Like, it just happens to be even with the Bucks. Like, it's just rough. It's gonna happen. Like, even if you do win. Like, that's why those
Okay,
two peats and three peats are special because they don't usually happen.
okay. Well,
Hmm.
I'm not going. I'll do Lakers fan. I just know some might not. So I know you don't care. So just know that might come up at some point. The people might question you. So just be ready for that because it happens. So
Hmm.
just,
Yeah.
just be ready for that.
It'll happen. I know we ain't doing
Let's
nothing
see.
this year,
Okay,
but
you're
it's
you're.
cool. It's cool.
That's brutal,
It's
bro.
cool. I'll wait on next year, bro.
Uh, rough.
Hmm.
See, okay, your favorite musical artist.
This might be cliche, but young boy.
Okay,
Hmm.
okay. Now you have a young boy song.
Do I have a young boy song?
Yeah, like a favorite one.
Like, uh, I have a game day playlist, but the first song I always have to play is probably "Proof" by Young Boy.
Okay, okay.
Just to set
And
it off. Like,
and does that game day playlist, does it ever change, or is it just like set in stone? These are the songs I listen to before every game.
oh no, it changes with every new release. As long as the release is nice and it sounds like something I could get in the mood to on game day, like, it's gonna go on the playlist. Like, it's the playlist gonna get altered every day. Like, as long as somebody's dropping some music, it's gonna get altered. Like, for me, I can listen to the same music every day, but I can't at the same time. Like, it irritates me. I don't know.
Okay. Okay, now I just gonna warn you now. After talking to the guys, The auxiliary cord in the locker room and the weight room is not for the weak. All right. Apparently, if they don't like the song, they will just yank your phone off the cord. So I just fair warning if you plan be on the aux, tread lightly because because your phone will get yanked. So just
I'm all for that. So I'm all for it. I got
okay.
thousands of songs, so I ain't really. I'm not really worried.
Okay. I'm letting you know now. I just want to give you fair warning. So,
That's fair.
so
That's fair. That's fair. We did that at JUCO too. That's fair. That's fair. Love it.
okay, 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 okay. Let's see. Your favorite food.
See, uh, steak. Definitely steak.
Okay.
Steak
Now,
or any type of chicken Alfredo.
okay. Now with the steak, are we rare, medium rare, well done?
We're medium well over here. I don't like none of that red. I don't. Mm-mm. A little pink. You know, it won't hurt. But you know what I'm saying? Red. Mm-mm. 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 Just not. Mm-mm. I will not eat it. I will sit there and not eat it. That's what will happen if it's red.
I feel you. I feel you. I want fully cooked.
Medium well, like you know what I'm saying. Medium, like not well done, because I don't want it to be like a rock when I eat it, or like a piece of gum when I eat it. You know what I'm saying? But medium well, so it's still juicy. It's still kind of chewy because it's still well, but it's good. Like you know what I'm saying? It's good to me.
Mhm. Okay. Okay. Let's see. Do you have any pregame routines or rituals that you normally do?
Um, I wouldn't say. I mean, yeah, I guess you could call it pregame. I just play mellow songs like that. Like I start off kind of slow, listening to slow music, and then I build up as close as we get to the field. The hype for the music turns up. So that's why my playlist has to be like on point because with the season and stuff like that, you have different moods throughout the season that you play games with at the end of the day. So I feel like what you listen to before the game and after the game is like what brings the hype to the team.
Okay. Okay. I guess my final question for you would be: what are your goals for your first season in a UCO uniform?
Um, I mean, I usually don't like to do the predictions because like a lot of people like to put standards on somebody, but I feel like my goal this season is just to get my foot in the door as a hardworking player. That's all I want is kind of my respect for the season. And I obviously I gotta earn it, but like I'm ready to earn it. You know what I'm saying? That's all I
Okay.
want to do.
Okay.
I don't really have any like game goals or accolades. I think like I think about I like to see what I can do with what I have and then like just go off that instead of setting like obviously I have other goals that I have in my head, but sometimes like people don't want to hear that. They just want to see it.
Okay. Well, Jadon, that's all I have. I appreciate you taking time to come on and talk to me this afternoon. Anytime you want to come back on, I'm more than welcome to, and I'm wishing you the best of luck this season, and looking forward to seeing some of that explosion in the UCO uniform. That'd be fantastic.
That's what y'all wanted. That's what I'm gonna give y'all. Explosion. That's what you gonna see. That's a guarantee.
Well,
But I
again,
appreciate
Jadon,
talking to you,
I
John.
appreciate. And
You go
I
by John
appreciate
or
you taking time to
Jonathan?
come on, and I'm wishing you the best. Either one, man. I go by John. There's Jonathan. Some people call me JG Smooth. Some just call me Smooth.
I'm gonna call you Smooth.
Whatever
I'm gonna call you
suits
Smooth.
you, will work for me.
You Smooth. Smooth.
All right, man. We're in the I'll probably be coming to you for some graphic design stuff, because that graphic was pretty nice. So I just
I mean, I have my faults in it, but it's a little on me. Like, yeah, little quick edits, but yeah, I loved it. I love what I put out. Like, obviously.
Yeah, okay, yeah, we're gonna be coming to you. I'm coming to you then if I have any graphical design needs. That you will be the man that I'm reaching out to first. So just letting you know now. Just letting you know now. If I slide in DMs, be like,
that's fine by me. I'm already trying to get tapped in with the football team as far as graphics, so we can make something work, make some shake, make some business.
Hey, that sounds like a plan to me. Well, Jay, like I said, I appreciate you, and I'm wishing you the best this coming season.
Appreciate it, my dog.